Welcome to the Funeral Funds Life Insurance Podcast. I'm your host, Randy Vandervate from Funeral Funds of America, and you can find us at funeralfunds.com. That's funeral, Funds.com. Whether you're interested in term life, whole life, mortgage protection, annuities, disability, business continuation, or final expense life insurance, we have you covered. Our team of experienced professionals will guide you through the complexities of insurance products to help you make an informed decision. In this podcast, I'm going to be discussing 6 questions you should ask before buying life insurance. Let's jump right in. Question number 1, really important question here. What are the coverage limits of the policy, right? There's no sense buying life insurance if it's not going to cover the needs that you want it to cover. So, you know, really, in most cases, the coverage limits of the policy are going to be determined by you. And what I mean by that is you're going to choose the face amount, the coverage amount. Now, you can't just like choose the coverage amount and ignore everything else. You can't just say, well, I want a $30 million policy because, you know, that $30 million policy is going to have a cost associated with the premiums. So there's always that balance between affordability of premiums and how much the coverage will pay out when you do pass away. So you want to know exactly what kind of coverage you're going to need and what the intended purpose is. So let's say if you had a $500,000 home and you had a $350,000 mortgage on it, and you just wanted to make sure that, God forbid, if you passed away, your spouse and children wouldn't have to lose the house. In fact, you want it totally paid for. If that's the only thing you wanted done with your insurance policy, get a $350,000 policy. Now, let's dive a little deeper on there. Let's say you had a 30-year mortgage. Well, in that case, you would probably want a 30-year term life insurance policy. However, if you were going to overpay, pay more than your actual payment on your home because you wanted to pay the house off in 15 years and not 30 years, then I might suggest you look at either a 15 or a 30-year term life insurance policy. Now, if you're a business owner and you're in a business and you've got 2 or 3 owners, let's say 3 owners, and you wanted to make sure that if one of those owners passed away, that the business would have the funds necessary to continue operating, but also to buy out the spouse, of the partner who died, then you would need to just kind of figure out what the valuation of the company is or would be at that time and come up with a policy. And you go, well, why would people do that? Why wouldn't they want the spouse to get it? Well, you know, if there's a business with 3 people in it and one of them passes away, if that business has been successful, there's been some good magic going on there. Let's just kind of put it that way, good magic. And what happens if somebody passes away and a spouse comes in and tries to exert control without knowing the business, without understanding it, without having kind of gone through, the growing pains and everything like that, that can actually destroy a business. So in many cases, you're better off coming to an agreement beforehand with the 3 partners that say, hey, if one of us passes away, what we're going to do is we're going to have this insurance policy, and the insurance policy will buy out my portion of the policy, and upon my death, my spouse will get that money, but they won't get any business ownership. So essentially, the insurance money is buying out the partner so that the 2 remaining business partners don't have to worry about something that could just potentially destroy or disrupt or delay success for the insurance company. So coverage limits is basically what you want it to be, but there are income requirements too. So if you made $50,000 a year, no insurance company is going to issue a $5 million policy. So there has to be some kind of income balancing as far as the premiums and your income and the coverage amounts and all that too. So number 2 question that you should ask before buying life insurance is, what's the premium amount? We kind of alluded to that a little bit, kind of dove into that one. But, the premium amount is going to be tied to the coverage amount and the length of the term. So if we're talking term life insurance, a 10-year policy for $1 million is going to cost less than a 30-year policy for $1 million. Now, by the same token, a 10-year policy for $1 million might be around the same price as a 30-year policy for $250,000. I'm just pulling numbers out of there. I don't have my quote up or anything, just to give you an idea. So there's just, it's kind of a sliding scale based off the amount of coverage and the length of time. And then the type of insurance too. Term life insurance is going to be less expensive than whole life insurance. And the reason is whole life insurance is going to last forever. Term life insurance lasts for a specific period of time. That's why they call it a term. It lasts for a specific term. Just like presidents have term limits, they can only serve so long. Term life insurance policies have term limits and they only last so long. So the premium amount is going to depend on a number of things: your age, your gender, your overall health, the coverage amount, the insurance company, a whole bunch of things. And that's where working with a broker like Funeral Funds of America is to your advantage. We shop a whole bunch of different insurance companies because it's like, it's like getting married, right? You probably dated a whole lot of people to find that one special person where everything just jived up and the magic was there and all that other stuff. It's kind of the same way with insurance companies. You can date a lot of insurance companies, but typically there's only going to be one that you want to marry. And it's going to be the one that's going to get you the best coverage, lowest premiums, and kind of everything just feels right. So we can certainly help you get further down that road and find that perfect policy. Question number 6 before buying life insurance has more to do with whole life insurance policies and older folks, because we're talking like burial, cremation, final expense. Is there a waiting period? And you want to know that too, even on existing policies. Is there anything on the policy that's phased in over time? Because you want first day coverage. You don't want a policy that's going to make you wait or have specific time limits before, things even kick on. I mean, nobody would buy a car and, not want to be able to drive it in the first 2 years. And nobody would buy a house if they couldn't live it in the first 2 years. There's a lot of people that mistakenly buy final expense life insurance plan, whole life insurance plans that have mandatory 2-year waiting periods, and they qualify for first day coverage and lower rates. Why would you ever do that? Why would you ever do that? You know why? Because you're just not informed. And I tell you, some of that advertising on TV is really pretty sexy. It's called marketing for a reason. The insurance companies out there that advertise the most, by and large, sell the worst products. And you want to know why? Because the worst products need to be marketed the hardest. So just kind of keep that in mind. We really focus on companies that have low prices. They hang around in the background. Good, solid companies that have been around 100, 150 years, whatever it is. And, they're just solid companies, and they can offer lower rates because they're just not pumping millions and bazillions of dollars into marketing. So question number 4 to ask before buying life insurance is, what's the company and the policy's underwriting process? Every insurance company looks at unique things differently about you and your unique situation. So they're going to underwrite, if it's term life insurance, they're going to underwrite typically based on income. Whole life insurance is less so on that, especially when we're looking at final expense life insurance. They're going to look at occupation in many cases, right? So if you work at a steel plant and you're working around molten steel and you're the one that like tips the buckets and wears the silver suit, so you don't get burnt to a crispy critter, some insurance companies are going to ask specific employment related questions. What do you do? Do you do something dangerous, right? So they're going to ask, in some cases, do you fly a private plane? Do you skydive? Do you scuba dive? Stuff like that. They're also going to ask health or medical questions. Have you had any health or medical issues? Depending on the insurance company too, they may go back and ask questions about your family and kind of genetic things, like do any family members have a history of X, Y, or Z? So that's happening a lot with term life insurance, because they're insuring you over a long period of time for a great deal of money for not a lot of money. The premium's not a lot compared to the payout on these policies. When we start getting into the whole life final expense insurance plans, They're not asking occupation or hobbies or anything like that because they're intended for older folks. So it really depends on the insurance company. And again, that's why your best bet is to kind of rely on a broker like Funeral Funds of America, where we specialize in the different companies, the different policies. We kind of geek out on it. We're just kind of that way. We enjoy it. And I think we enjoy it because we just don't enjoy helping people. So the fifth question before buying life insurance is, are there any additional benefits or riders? So different insurance companies and different insurance policies offer different additional benefits. In some cases, you can look at an accidental death benefit rider. So, say you had a $250,000 policy and you opted for the accidental death coverage rider on that. In many cases, with most insurance companies, that would double the face amount to a $500,000 if you died of an accident. Now, if you had a heart attack, it would just pay the original 250. There's other riders out there that, if you became disabled or something and you wanted to make sure that your insurance stayed in place and the premiums were paid, there's riders out there that say, hey, if you become disabled, we will waive all the premiums and you will have your insurance for the rest of your life, depending on the policy. Helped a gal once. She had a $3 million policy. She loved riding horses, fell off the horse, got injured, become disabled. It was a permanent policy and they enacted that rider. And now she had a $3 million policy that she's never going to have to pay another penny in premiums again. Kind of a cool deal. And then as we get older, there's accelerated death benefit riders where if you're diagnosed with a terminal illness and you're going to pass away within 12 months, you can get all the funds out before you actually die. Kind of cool. There's a lot of insurance policies out there. You got to die to get the money, or your beneficiary, you got to die for your beneficiaries to get the money. There's policies out there with the right rider. You can actually get that money before you die, just to make sure that you have your part in taking care of your final arrangements, making sure everything's taken care of. And the sixth question to ask before buying life insurance is, what happens if I miss a payment, right? Oh, life happens, right? We all miss payments and stuff like that. Most insurance companies are going to have a grace period that, 30 days or so. If you miss a payment, you can get that in. Some insurance companies, they've got a reinstatement process that if it's been a little bit longer, but what they might do is they might require you to actually go through the underwriting process again to make sure your health hasn't changed. So let's just say you're 2 months behind and all of a sudden you pay, they might go, well, you know, they didn't want the insurance, but then they just went to the doctor and they found out they have XYZ. And now they want to get back into that policy. And they're going to want to know that you just haven't had a decline in health. And that depends on every insurance company. I'm not going to go in a whole lot of detail because that is so insurance company specific and just kind of operational aspects of each business. So there you go. 6 questions to ask before buying life insurance. Certainly, this is not all the questions, but these are some biggies, and hopefully that's given you some direction to go if you're considering buying life insurance. My name is Randy Vandervate, and I hope this podcast has been helpful to you. Funeral Funds of America can help you qualify for first day coverage or benefits at funeralfunds.com. That's funeral, FUNDS.com. And our phone number is 888-862-9456. We will be blessed to help you with this in the future. Until that day comes, stay safe, take care, and have a nice day. Bye-bye.